My kindergarten friends. Today we're going to learn about the holiday called Columbus Day. It's always celebrated in October. Here's a story to help us learn about it. This story is pretty cool. It's called Columbus Day and it has really neat pictures and drawings to help us understand the holiday better. It is written by Christina Mia Gardeski. Are you an explorer? How many of you know what that word means? Explorers travel to new places, and explorers are brave. They meet new people and find new things. Christopher Columbus was an explorer. We celebrate a holiday named after him. Columbus Day comes every year on the second Monday in October. This book was written in 2019, and last year Columbus Day was on October 14th. This year Columbus Day will be on October 12th. Columbus lived more than 500 years ago in Europe, and that is a country across the other side of the world. He had a job there making maps, but Columbus liked sailing better than map making. Now imagine if you lived 500 years ago, there weren't any cars, there weren't any airplanes, there weren't any trains. The only way to travel far distances was by sailing, and you sailed on large ships. Columbus dreamed of sailing to a land called Asia. He thought he could find gold and spices there. And he thought if he found gold and spices, he could bring them back to Europe and would make money for bringing them back to Europe. He could sell them there. Long ago, it was hard to get to Asia from Europe. Explorers sailed east, then they crossed deserts and mountains. Columbus thought it would be easier to sail west all around the world. And if you look, this is a globe that's showing us what our planet Earth looks like. The blue is the water. The brown, and sometimes it's also seen on maps and globes as green for the land, that's the land. And Columbus thought if he could sail all the way around the world, he could make it to Asia. And at that time, a lot of people thought that was a silly idea for him to have. Columbus asked King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain to help him sail to Asia. The king and queen gave Columbus 3 ships. And here they are, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. He needed their help because he needed money and ships to get his sailing underway. Columbus's ships were called the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Columbus and his crew sailed far out into the ocean. Many days passed before they saw land. And you'll notice it's not the big kind of ships that we might see today, like the cruise ships that people may travel on, or the ships that are run by motors. These ships, the only way that they could sail, do you see these white things? They're the sails, and that's what carried them. There was no motor in the ship. They needed the wind to push them along. Finally, on October 12th, 1492, Columbus landed on an island. Now, this was a problem actually, because he had thought that he sailed all the way around the world, but in actuality, he did not. He thought he was in India, a country in Asia, and Columbus called the people he met there Indians, but he actually didn't get all the way to India. He got to what is now known as the Americas. Columbus did not know that he was not in Asia. He was in the Bahamas, and the Bahamas are a group of islands just off of the coast of the United States. And you can see those islands here in the picture. People Columbus called Indians were really Native Americans. And Native means you're belonging to a certain area, you're from that part. They lived in America long before Columbus arrived. And you know what? When Columbus and the sailors first met the Native Americans, it was really challenging for them to understand one another because they spoke different languages. And if you look, they looked very different than the sailors. They dressed differently. So they had difficulty communicating. And you know what? Now we've actually learned so much about Native Americans that Columbus thought they were just all the same group of people. But the Native Americans actually belonged to different groups, and those groups were called tribes. And when we talk about Thanksgiving and the Pilgrims and the Native Americans, we'll talk a little bit more about the tribes. The Bahamas are in the ocean between North America and South America. That's why some people say that Columbus discovered or found America. Columbus was not the first person to discover America, but he did find a new way to sail to other lands. And you can see that they're showing his route that he took to get this way from Europe. On Columbus Day, many towns and cities have parades. People wear uniforms and colorful costumes. Bands play. Columbus Day reminds us that exploring is important. You never know what you might find. And if we look here at the back of the book, it's telling us words you know. These were words that we learned about in the book. Bahamas, this is Christopher Columbus. King Ferdinand, Queen Isabella. Here we have the Native Americans. Parade was a word that we learned. And here are his ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Now, boys and girls, I hope that this helps you to understand a little bit more about Christopher Columbus and Columbus Day, the holiday we'll celebrate on October 12th. And as a follow-up to this, you're going to have 3 choices of something to do. In your blue to-do folder, you saw a picture of Christopher Columbus with a brown paper bag. You can create a puppet with that. You can also think about a time that you were brave. Remember, explorers are brave people because they're doing something new and they're meeting new people. Think about a time that you were brave and share that with us. You can tell us a story by recording yourself on Seesaw, or perhaps you even want to draw a picture of it and share it with us. The third thing you can do is pretend that you traveled to a new place. Maybe it's a place here on Earth. Maybe it's a place in outer space. You can draw a picture. What did you see? What did it look like there? Were there people there? Were there plants? Were there creatures? Whichever project you choose, have fun doing it.